Hi YouTube, it's Sannah here. So I decided I would come on and tell you a little bit more about my leak experience. So it was about 2 weeks post-op, and I'd had this low backache, and it was just a dull feeling. And quite honestly, I was feeling so great since surgery that I thought, man, if this were so easy, I would have done it earlier. But I was feeling great. I was consuming more liquid. My protein was getting in, and things were just going really good. And then I had one night of rigor and sweats accompanied by a fever. I called the surgeon that night. She's like, oh, that sounds like the flu. Well, I thought that was kind of weird. I don't have body aches or, anything like that. So they wanted to see me the next day. Anyways, and I go in there, and they keep telling me, you look so good. You look so good. There's just no way you have a leak. No way. But we have to be safe, so we're going to do some blood work and a CAT scan. So I went and did the blood work, and my white blood cells were elevated to 24, and normal is under 10. They said based on my white blood cell count, I was going to be admitted to the hospital. I was. But then again, the surgeon says, you look so healthy. There's just no way. They just kept telling me how great I looked, and I walked in, so there was just no way that I had a leak. Well, the CAT scan came back, and I had a leak. But nobody really ever told me I had a leak. They said that if the CAT scan was okay, I was going to be able to go home. So I was literally walking around the hospital because I felt so fine that I was just waiting for the surgeon's suspicions of how healthy I was to be confirmed so I could leave. While I was walking around, a stretcher pulls up and says, we're taking you down to the, I don't know what room it was, some room where I met a new doctor called Dr. Revis. And that's when I had my first stent put in place, and that's how I learned I had a leak. The stretcher rolling up, and they were taking me, and I didn't quite understand what was going on. That's when they told me, well, you have a leak. So I didn't have a lot of time to process things. And it was frightening. And everything after that is vague and blurry. And as I previously said before, I've talked to my husband a lot about what had occurred and everything, because I don't really recall. So, that first stent migrated, and I had a second stent put in. Had the stents for 6 weeks. It was 6 weeks of hell, probably the worst experience I've had. And during stent removal, which was a day of celebration, I woke up during the procedure, which was really miserable. I remember those moments just like they were yesterday. It was such a vivid experience to be having them pull these metal stents out of your, up and out of you. And stents, believe it or not, are actually like 4 feet long. Big, meshy metal, 4 feet long. They compress it down very small before they insert it. I received a photo of my leak. If you join me on Facebook, I'm Sannah Sannah, Sannaa, and then repeated on Facebook. You can see my leak and my stents. My leak, the hole itself is actually very small, but a small hole when you're leaking fluid into your abdominal cavity is miserable. So while physically it looks small, it wasn't small because it was wreaking a lot of havoc on my body, and it's a miserable experience. I also, my heart, it struggled a lot. I ended up retaining fluid around my heart, which had me hospitalized again a second time. I met a great cardiologist by the name of Dr. Parsons, and he explained to me that very much like when you break a bone, you get swelling. This was like what happened. I got a leak. My heart got very agitated and started collecting fluid. Well, I was hospitalized, I don't know how long, for months, off and on. And too long. It felt too long to me because I just wanted to be out and not in that place. I didn't want to have these problems going on. My pulse was erratic. It would get really fast and it would drop dangerously low, and it just would continue to do that. And my blood pressure, it also did the same, would go really, really high and drop really, really low. And that just went on and went on for months. Suddenly it's done. I still get a racing heart, tachycardia. I don't know why. I'm getting ready to have a heart monitor to try and figure out what's going on. It happens a lot at night, which is weird for me. I wake up at night with my heart just going crazy. I'll check in and it's usually in the 130s. I don't know why. Why would my heart do that while I was sleeping? So what else can I tell you about a leak? I think it's really important to emphasize that my leak symptoms, the backache and some of the other things, they weren't typical symptoms. My symptoms were atypical, other than, of course, the fever and the white blood cells. And the one thing I've learned, and the one thing I really want to share and I want to promote, is to listen to your body. You know it best. I went into the doctor, and I seriously thought, and in my gut told me I was fine. I was going through a lot, but I was feeling so much better, and obviously I looked better because everybody kept saying there's just no way you have a leak. No way. Yeah, and I did. Listen to your body. You know it best. Please seek help for anything that feels weird. Even if you're slightly unsure, even like with me, something didn't feel right, but in my gut I thought I didn't have a leak, but it did. So the best thing I could say is listen to your body and advocate for yourself. These medical professionals I've learned they don't communicate with each other very well. So I had a lot of specialists. I had my surgeon, I had the infectious disease doctor, I had a cardiologist, nephrologist, urologist, and then various other people who were involved in my care. And what came to be very frustrating was that things were going on, and everybody had a different opinion about what should or shouldn't take place, and when, and I was kind of like in the middle of a spider web with people all around me, and they weren't communicating. So I think you have to advocate for yourself, and if you're not strong enough to advocate for yourself, please make sure your family members are able to advocate, or that you meet somebody in the hospital who is going to be instrumental in your care. To this day, since my leak, I continually see my family doctor. I've been seeing her for 15 years. I go to her with all of my questions about my everything. My leak, my kidneys, my heart, everything. She knows me, and I'm comfortable with her. So if I need to see somebody else, then she'll tell me I need to see somebody else. So find your one person, stick to that person. What else? You know, in the thick of everything I've gone on, there's been a lot of emotions, you know, ups and downs, and I mean all the way around. It's been a wild ride. Things are getting better. And like I've said before, I'm full of regret. And I've heard that give it a year or two and you'll feel better about it. So I'm really hoping that's the case. But I don't know. So the main thing I want to share with you is, regardless of what you're feeling, if you think or even have a smallest feeling that something isn't going right, just seek help. I mean, even if it's urgent care, it's always better safe than sorry. And with a leak, it's best to catch it before it gets really bad, because you can die if you just let it go. I had my back pain for about a week and didn't do anything because I thought, oh, back pain, I've been laying a lot. No, back pain was because of the leak. But anyways, these are the details I have to share right now. I'm open to any questions you might have about my experience or any support you're looking for. I'm here. I want to help. I've received a lot of help, and just listen to your body. Anyways, good talking to you this evening, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.